Hello and welcome back to episode 10 of The Forgotten City. I'm Vic, and you're watching yet another Let's Play channel. So let's get back to philosophizing with this old feller, huh? Pluto, god of the underworld.
Excellent. I see you are indeed quite astute. Very few come to that realization before their time in the sun is over. Now, will you join me in a friendly Socratic dialogue?
I don't like any of these options. Why can't I just say sure? I could be an asshole and say sounds easy enough, or I could be resistant and say if I have to, or I can just decline. Like, just say, sure, let's chat.
Wonderful. Then let me begin with a question. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong?
I'm not sure. It's a complex question.
You are an overthinker too. We're the same then. This is probably why I became a philosopher. But if you struggle with right and wrong normally, then down here with the golden rule, surely your struggle can only have become more difficult.
Not really. I mean, sometimes I do something and I have to start the loop over, and then I learned that broke the golden rule. It's not that big a deal. It is.
Well, that's reassuring. And the truth is, you're not alone. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong was acceptable, because our mistakes rarely had consequences. So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize, and yet still find a way to think of ourselves as good people. But under the golden rule, morality matters. The slightest wrongdoing could result in a mass execution. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree?
I don't agree with any of this. I mean, we lie and bend the rules and rationalize and so on and call ourselves good people because probably we are. Because there's a difference between a good person and a perfect person. One can exist. Meanwhile, down here, it's really not a question of morality. It's a question of legality. And, frankly, we could be certain if the lawgiver had just, or if the lawmaker had been a lawgiver and had just explained what the rules were. But they haven't. And that creates the problem. So whose version of right and wrong?
That is an excellent question, and it leads directly to my next line of inquiry. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing?
No, I don't think so.
Are you sure? Or is it possible that humans simply haven't figured out the right system yet?
Well, see, roughly, I don't know, like 1800 years from now, from your perspective, this dude named Gödel is going to prove that any sufficiently complex algebra must be either incomplete or inconsistent. And I suspect that let's call it the moral calculus, would almost certainly fall into this category. So I think there's no such thing as a correct morality.
So is it up to each of us to decide what right and wrong mean to us individually? Or must we simply follow the laws and customs of whichever community we're in?
I mean, the answer ultimately is both, right? Because on the one hand, you answer to yourself for your moral choices, but on the other, you also answer to your community. And so you have to judge for yourself, in the instance, which of those is going to dominate your decision-making. Which I guess means that we need to decide for ourselves.
So if a man feels that stoning to death his unfaithful wife is right, then is it right?
Well, he thinks it's right, and we think that he's wrong. And in that case, we override his opinion, don't we?
I agree. But why? Didn't you just say right and wrong depends on the individual?
See, and again, I mean, I don't like either of these answers because, yeah, he did feel it was right, and so he acted according to his belief that it was right. And then everybody else in the community said, no, we don't think that's right, and so we're going to, I don't know, put you in jail or put you in the electric chair, because that's what we think is right. Right? Confused or sick, I guess.
I see. So you get to decide right from wrong. The people who see things differently are not allowed. What makes you special?
Empathy.
Empathy? The emotion?
No, empathy is not an emotion.
Imagine you were forced to choose between the death of your beloved spouse and the death of two innocent strangers. Knowing there will be no legal consequences, who would you mark for death?
The strangers.
Of course, everyone would. Our empathy, like a siren song calling us away from our true path, would lure us toward the greater evil. Can such a beguiling thing be a reliable cornerstone for anything, let alone the perfect moral code?
Why are you arguing this? I already told you I don't believe there's such a thing as a perfect moral code. I suppose not.
My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any hard and fast rules about right and wrong.
Fair point.
If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people will always find a way around them. And so we must accept our limitations, and the sad truth that no human society will ever achieve the utopia for which it strives. In mathematics, we would call it an asymptote, a line that can be approached but never reached. Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all.
Right. Thus, you just talked your way circularly into the statement that there is no such thing as utopia, and I agree.
I'm glad to hear that. In any case, thank you for humoring an old man. I would be happy to answer your questions.
What's your story?
You mean, how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing but these relics of the past for company? It's a long story.
I'm listening.
I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, I left Corinth for Rome to study rhetoric at one of her finest academies, so I could argue more forcefully. Back then, I used to enjoy verbally sparring with everyone I could, and I was good. One night I found myself in a tavern, in an argument with a drunk mercenary. It became heated, he drew a gladius, and I won the argument, but lost my life. I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return, but even with all my skill, I failed. I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could, quickly realizing our little community faced certain death under the Golden Rule. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I found this place waiting for me. You see, I was not the first to take refuge here. I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of us descended for the last time to live out our days hidden from Hades' tyranny.
And you call him Hades. That's interesting.
They are one and the same. The Romans call him Pluto, but long before that, my people called him Hades.
Why can't you return to the surface?
My generation was wiped out, turned to gold, many years ago. My friends and I were able to avoid the same fate by hiding down here. I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades would realize that his furies hadn't finished the job, and he'd send them after me again.
Why can't you tell me your name?
I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, even by mistake, that Hades would hear you and know I am still alive.
Where is everyone else?
I'm afraid I am the only one left. There were 12 of us in the beginning, but one by one, my friends passed away. Some from malnutrition, others from madness and despair. It has been lonely. Before my unexpected visit from Kabash some weeks ago, I'd not seen another person in many, many years.
How have you survived down here?
Living in darkness is not without its challenges. The first challenge is diet. Fortunately, I found that eating fresh fish provides most of the nutrients I need. And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings they've left in the temple of Demeter. The greater challenge is the isolation, so I like to imagine arguments, where I argue both sides. But, like so many things in life, arguments are better with a partner.
Let's talk about something else.
As you wish.
Do you know a way out of here?
Ha! If I did, would I be living like this?
Well, maybe you just can't get to it because you're down here and can't go out there. What do you think about the Golden Rule? This is a stupid question to ask because we've already established his answer, but it's not grayed out yet, so I'm clicking it.
Did we not discuss it at length already? Oh, I see. You're toying with me. Ha!
Do you know where I can find a plaque that was removed from the obelisk?
You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian inscription.
That's the one.
It is a cursed object, and I would be happy to give it to you if Kabash had not already taken it.
All right, then tell me where Kabash is.
I will tell you, but you may find him hostile. To prepare for your encounter, there are certain things you must know. Very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was once entirely Greek. The architecture, the temples, and the people. When the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own, built over everything that could be built over, and renamed the things that could not. Thus, the shrine of Persephone became the shrine of Proserpina. And when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. And the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing this compulsive Roman conquest, decided to preserve what they could of their heritage. They gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through the temple of Demeter, and hid them here, out of reach of the Romans.
I'm with you so far.
However, there was one thing that always seemed out of place to me, and it is the very thing you seek. An even older plaque bearing an Egyptian inscription.
What did it say?
We had no idea until years later, when the first of my friends began to die. As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs branching off from this cavern to lay them to rest. We extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another, an even older tunnel, which somebody had gone to great lengths to keep hidden. Suddenly it made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque among our people's possessions. You see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans beasts for stealing and corrupting our heritage. But it turns out this game has been going on much longer than any of us imagined. I think it is best you head through the catacombs and follow Kabash's trail.
What's in there?
There are certain things you must see for yourself.
Only what
Take
you bring
this
with
key.
you.
You'll need it to
No.
open the gate.
Thanks. I'll be going now.
I enjoyed our chat, but please, keep my presence here a secret, yes?
All right. There we go. Oh, fish. So can I probably could just drop down there, but why would I do that? When it will deprive me of all these interesting archaeologies I can do along the way. Can I? Thank you. Is this the way I came in? I don't think so. Is it though? Well, it wasn't the way I came in, but it led back to the way that I came in. That's strange. So, instead we go...
You've returned.
This way. Yeah, I have. Bathtub. Converted into a rather eccentric bed. I have a feeling that if I did a little bit of Googling about historical stuff, I could figure out who that guy is. I think he might be somebody significant. In any case, here we go. This is a lot of digging for 11 people and counting to do. Wow. I think when I'm done here, I'm going to go and check out the first place that I found. Nope. A peeled statue. It's interesting that they're not all in the palace, right? Alright. Our 12 dying Greeks didn't do this, so this must be the older tunnel. Oh, is that so? Hey, hey, hey. Calm down. Calm down and hold still. Thank you. Is there more out here? Alright, I don't think I'm supposed to go that way, so I'm gonna go the supposed to go way. Locked from the other side. How rude. This pillar is clearly Egyptian. What is it doing here? Well, an ancient game called Sinet, the rules for which are long forgotten. So we're going to find out that Anubis has a hand here too? Is that what's going on? What are you doing over there, feller? Just hanging out. Okay. I like this. Going down into the area surrounded by water. That's where good things happen. Can't tell, but I think that one might be mummified. That one is alive. I hear you breathing. Oh, bad shot. Did it gold the pillar? Look at that. Huh. Alright, you're moving. And that one is moving. And that one is moving. Oh, we got a creeper. Come on now. Come on. These guys and their wobbly ass heads. So rude. And this place has been overrun by sand, in the usual fashion of Egyptian ruins. Got some more wigglers over there. Well, I was gonna let you go, but if you're gonna be a jerk about it. Very thoughtful of the developers to make it so that I can kick and draw my bow at the same time. I feel like that's something that is frequently missing from action in video games. Clay vase decorated with animals and geometric patterns. Now contains nothing but sand. Bronze-bladed tools. Too high. There we go. I think that's all the ones I can hit from here. But let's go over this way, see what's going on, if we can. Why y'all just hanging around in this underground temple, playing board games and stuff? The many shall suffer the sins of the one. I overlooked you before. I haven't been paying close enough attention to their dress to see if they're dressed differently now. But I'm going to assume that they are. Thank you. He was running from something. Imagine that. Why did I do that? Other than because I could. Oh, did I have to get up here? Maybe I did. I don't see any more wigglers. Statue of Acre, an ancient Egyptian deity said to guard against evil spirits and welcome the dead to the underworld. And there's another one. She's got wraps on. Maybe not on her head, but she didn't have them out. These statues look rather more primitive, don't they? Like maybe they're more time-worn. Yep, same plaque. There's our boy. We can't identify him for some reason. Oh hey, it's Kabash. Buddy.
Stop. Do not come any closer. Who are you?
I'm Vic. Who are you?
I am Kabash. And let me guess. Another Greek or Roman come to loot and plunder the resting place of my ancestors,
Do I look Greek or Roman to you?
Trousers, boots, curious here. No, I suppose you do not. Then what do you want?
I'm looking for an Egyptian plaque.
To what end?
I want to return it to the obelisk.
That is welcome news. You really are not Greek or Roman, are you? I was planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain. Here, take it, and restore the honor of Osiris.
Ah, Osiris. Thanks.
Now, as for the other plaque.
You know about the fourth plaque?
Indeed, I have it right here. I stumbled across a collection of dusty curiosities while searching for a place to hide from the hungry children of Amit, and there it was.
May I have it?
You may not. In fact, I am about to destroy it.
That would do me a heckin' inconvenience. Why?
Because it speaks a treacherous, blasphemous lie.
How so?
I will tell you, but first, do you know what this place is?
The Duat.
Indeed, and I see you know our history. This is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story, and here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers, but instead of adopting our ways, they copied and corrupted them. When they found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it, removing his name and replacing it with Hades. Even the ferryman of the dead, known to my people long before as Kerti, they renamed to Keron. As if that desecration was not enough, they built over this place, using it as the foundation for their own underworld, so that ours was forgotten. My only solace is that the Greeks then suffered the same fate when the Romans rose to power, renaming Hades to Pluto, and the cycle began anew.
Right. So the blasphemous lie is that there is an even older god that you, in turn, named Osiris. So what's the problem with this plaque?
It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is ancient, almost as if it is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so, it would imply the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted from an ancient people who prospered even before us, and that my people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the work of Set, the usurper, seeking to undermine Osiris once more.
What does the inscription say?
You will never know. This work of sacrilege must be destroyed, thrown into the black abyss below in Osiris's name.
Please don't.
You are too late. It is done.
Now I'm going to have to go in after it.
You would plunge into the depths of the Duat with no way back up. Madness.
We'll see. First, I have some questions for you.
If it will help you to see reason, then ask.
Oh, I'm going down there. What's your story?
I am from Rakotis, which you may know as Alexandria, the name of the city the Greeks built over it. I was a fisherman, like my father before me. Since the Romans had taken over from the Greeks, I took the opportunity to learn Latin and eventually traveled to Rome. When the fires broke out last year, I tried to help. I gathered terrified locals into my boat and led many of them to safety farther along the Tiber. On my 7th trip, a passenger demanded I wait for his brother. But we were full to almost sinking, and smoke was all around us. I told him his brother would have to save himself, and he tried to bribe me by placing a coin into my hand. When I refused, he drew a dagger and thrust it between my ribs. I awoke on the banks of the river to a stranger wearing a ram headdress. He said his name was Kerti, and at the time, I simply thought him odd. It did not dawn on me until much later that he was the Kerti, the ram-headed ferryman described in the Book of the Dead.
Do you know a way out of here?
This is where I belong, as caretaker of the memories of my people. If our ways are to be remembered, It falls to me.
Don't worry, they'll be remembered.
I think if someone is to break the golden rule, it will not be me. For I try to live as I always have by the command of the goddess Ma'at. Do to the doer to make him do. As for the punishment that will come from it, I finally understand why it has long been said among my people that gold is the skin of the gods.
What do you think is down there?
I do not know. What could possibly lie beneath the underworld? Perhaps it is infinite darkness. Perhaps it is the lair of Amit, the devourer of souls. All I know is, it would be unwise to venture down there.
That just makes me want to go down there even more.
Is everyone so contrary where you are from? Do not even consider it.
Too late, sucker. I'll be going down there now.
Good. Be gone from this place. Wait. You are planning to go down there. I see it in your eyes.
Yup.
You would plunge into the depths
You already
of
said
the
that.
door.
I'll find a way.
We shall see.
We shall. And I mean, what's down there is even more ancient ruins. But we are all out of time for episode 10, so we're going to find out about that next time. Talk to you soon.